Hi guys, welcome back to Flutter BLoC Part 2. So, in the previous part, we were discussing about the initial setup of Flutter BLoC. So, in this video, let us just extend it by discussing few events and state. Okay, so what we are gonna create is a form with two text form fields and a button. Say, for example, the form will have a name text field and a text field for getting city name, okay, and a submit button. So on pressing that submit button, we will be navigating it to the next page or another page. Here I have defined it as my page 2. Okay, so this is the flow we are gonna work on now and for the future. Okay, so first let me start with the event. So I said before, what is an event is whatever button click on press, everything is an event. So here let us have an event called submit form. So submit form is an event which extends the block. Okay, so it is an empty class for now. Okay, so we have created an event. So as said before, I have a single button which will navigate to next page on press. So that is what I have defined here in the event file. I have given submit form. So this is the only event I am going to have for my page. Okay, next let us discuss the states. So block initial is the it is already defined. So this is what will be rendered initially before any event gets triggered. So after the initial state, let me have few custom states like form loading, which extends block state. Okay, so just okay, similarly form loading and another state called form loaded, which again extends the same as usual, then override method. Okay, so why I have created form loading and form loaded is that form loading it is nothing but a circular progress bar I am going to display when the submit button is pressed. So before navigating to the next page, a circular bar will be displayed on the screen. Okay, for handling that event, I will be using form loading state, and form loaded is when the app has switched back to the next page. So and that state form loader will be executed. So the event is I have kept a submit form, which is the button press, and uh, three state with the initial loading and loaded. So with this, let's get into the block. So here is where you need to do your commands, where let us say if event is not it's okay, let us if event is submit form, then yield event is submit form. What I am giving is that if the user has given his name and the city name, and on pressing that button, I will be yielding form loading state, and after the form loading state, I will be navigating to next page. So it is form loaded state. Okay, so whenever no event occurs, I will be returning the initial state, which is which I have defined here the state initial state my block initial. Let's copy it, just paste it. Okay, my block initial state 198. Okay, so we have just created the setup of event state and block. So let's jump into the main. Okay, this you have seen before, the listener and builder. So here we will be checking for the condition. Say for example, if state is, what to say, the state is form loading. Okay, form, the state is form loading, then return a custom widget. Okay, let us give it as give it a name, say loading widget. This is a function name. So let us just define that widget loading. Okay, as of now let us leave it empty. So similarly, else if the state is something form, the state is, let us, we have given the state as block my block initial, so we need to check that condition too, my block initial state. Then let us return build initial input widgets. Okay, this is again a custom function which returns a widget. Okay, so let's copy it. As of now I'm not going to have the implementation part for now. Okay, so if the form is loading, I will be giving a loading progress bar here, or else if the form is in initial state, then I will be returning the build initial input. I will be calling this function, so this will return a widget. So the text fields, text form fields, the two text fields should be, that widgets should come inside this function. Okay, next, form loaded is another thing with which we will be navigating to the next page. So that thing should be written inside the block listener. So if the state is form loaded, I will be returning to the next page. That thing should be written inside this it should be written inside this condition. Okay, so this is the structure how we will be developing next. So as said before, the event is nothing but the on press the button, and state is nothing but the rendering UI what you need to have. For now I am having a circular progress bar loading bar before navigating to the next page, and the form loaded is when I have navigated to the next page, and the initial is already defined, which is the UI you will see whenever the app gets started. So if the event is submit form, so that is whenever the user has an on press event in the submit button, I will be yielding the loading state, and after the circular progress bar runs for a few seconds, I will be yielding form loaded state, where I will be navigating the user to the next page, or else I will be returning just the block initial state, which is the initial input field, that is the form initial form field. Okay, after setting up these setups in this block, in the main we will be checking whether the state is form loading, then I will be returning the loading widget, or else the state is initial, I will be returning the initial widget, which is just the form text form fields, the UA alone. Or else if the form is loaded, that thing inside the listener I will be checking whether the state is form loaded, then I will be navigating the user to the next page. So this is what we are gonna describe, and just stay tuned to get the update of the next version. So thanks guys.